Good day, everyone. Meteorologist Mark Molnar here. I want to thank you for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather Tropical Edition. It's nice to have you here. We're going to take a look at the tropics, particular Hurricane Lee. That is the storm. That is the big story we're going to be watching. Yes, it's a much weaker storm, but I anticipate this will re-strengthen. European model blasting this back up to a 4 in the next couple days. And one thing of a concern is there is a big change on the European model, bringing this much closer to the New England coast. Let's get into it. Infrared satellite loop of Hurricane Lee showing a much more symmetrical system than it was, say, on Friday when it was battling a lot of wind shear. You can see right around the center of circulation an eye trying to form once again. Now, as we take a look here, you can actually see a cross section showing those higher cloud tops building up right around the center of circulation here, passing just to the north of the Leeward Islands here, maybe some outer scattered showers and thunder showers. But for the most part, the worst of the weather is going to be staying just north of you. You can see in all quadrants of this system, lots of perfectly ventilated system on all quadrants. This system will be safely passing to the north as it slowly strengthens back towards a Category 4 hurricane. All right, starting off with the European model run here, and I'll transition to the GFS in just a few minutes. So take a look at this. Yeah, the European model is bringing the system back as a Category 4 hurricane as we head towards the 11th and the 12th. So it's going to be heading just north of the Leeward Islands here. So we're going to continue to watch it here. I think the outer bands will reach some of these northern islands, especially the Virgin Islands. But you know what? For the most part, the worst of it is going to stay just to your north. It is going to re-intensify as wind shear slackens, as dry air also moves away from the system. So this is going to help the system grow back into a Category 4 here. And as you can see, this forward speed is going to slow down as well as we head into the 12th and the 13th. This is where the northward jaunt starts to happen. So that high pressure you saw up in this region, retreating to the northeast, here's the first trough that's going to help start steering this system towards the north. Now, I want to caution you because the GFS is much different than this. Let's take a look. There it is, the 14th heading on into the 15th, taking it much closer to Bermuda. Very kind of uncomfortable here, so to speak, but you can see here it is, the European model taking this just to the north. Now, watch this area of high pressure in relation to this trough. Here's the trough setting up from Newfoundland down towards just west of Bermuda and right over our system practically. Here's the area of high pressure. As we continue to go in time, watch what happens here. Yeah, steering safely just west of Bermuda, but look what starts to happen. The high pressure starts to build and solidify here across Nova Scotia and Newfoundland here. That could spell big trouble here because that's the big difference between the European run and the GFS run. Now, I caution you, the European run yesterday was much further out to sea than this one, and I'm about to show you here. Here it is, the 16th. Heading on into the 17th, look what starts to happen. Essentially what's going on here, you have a massive pressure gradient. There's that area of high pressure blocking the system from making a clean exit. This is much different from yesterday's run. Now, you see this trough here to the west? It doesn't look like it's quick enough to catch up to the system quite readily. So on the 17th, the system continues to grind to a slow crawl here, which would not be very good because not only do you have the pressure gradient over Newfoundland down here to Hurricane Lee, but look at how this system, 972 millibars, that's still, a solid 1, borderline 2. And look at this, on the 17th at 8 p.m., the European model is showing landfall right over southeastern Massachusetts and Cape Cod here. So this would be a devastating hit if this were to happen. So look at that, another landfall up here in Maine. So this is a solution that's much different from the previous model run, so I caution you. And the GFS is quite a bit further east than this. I'm going to show you that momentarily here. Look at high pressure just anchored in control here. This is kind of what we were afraid of. If this were to even build further south and west, my fear is this would push the system even further west, kind of like almost like a Hurricane Sandy, but we're not quite there yet. This is one model run, so we're going to keep an eye on it here. But one thing to note, this is much different than previous model runs, so we're going to keep an eye on it here. The system kind of moves up into parts of Quebec by the 18th. Lots of heavy rain, beach erosion, and coastal flooding. But yeah, there it is, moving up into the Canadian Maritimes by the 19th. So this is a much slower solution, a lot more blocking involved. Let's take a look at the GFS. All right, so the GFS model is a bit more straightforward here than the Euro. The Euro does seem to be flipping a lot further back and forth lately, whereas the GFS is a little bit more consistent. That's a little bit opposite of what it normally is, but here's the high pressure here across the north here according to the GFS. Here's the first trough kicking in across the east coast. This will be well gone by the time, Lee moves up, but you can see, yeah, here it is, the GFS indicating that Lee will re-strengthen as well, so this could reobtain Hurricane Category 4 status, maybe 5, but it's more likely a high-end 4. But here it is. As we head towards the 14th, it starts to round the bend here of that northward turn. Now, you have the high pressure building inland across inland parts of the mid-Atlantic. Here's the high pressure retreating towards the northeast. Here is a trough kind of hung up here across the U.S. East Coast, and this is going to help funnel Lee right up through it here. You can see through the 15th here. Some of the outer bands, according to the GFS, affecting eastern New England, but nowhere near what the European model is showing. As you can see, this is more of a Nova Scotia hit as we head towards the 15th into the 16th. Maybe becoming extratropical by then, more equivalent to a Category 1 hurricane, but still packing a punch with tremendous amount of storm surge and wave action, flooding, wind damage. Yeah, that would be a direct hit. If we take a look here, let's see where this would make landfall. Just east of Halifax, right around 5 p.m. on the 16th. There's 8 p.m. And then coming ashore right around between 8 and 11 p.m. on the 16th. So the GFS is a much faster solution, much more progressive. As Lee gets caught up in the westerlies, you see the GFS keeps much stronger troughs across the U.S. East Coast here, which would help to kick this Lee out and send these high-pressure systems retreating quicker towards the northeast. Thanks to Tropical Tidbits for this mid-layer dry air analysis map modeling. Take a look at this as we head towards, say, September 12th here. The system on the European model bombing out to 913 millibars once again. So it's going to be going into an area of much more favorable development, less dry air, and much less wind shear, as you can see here on the wind barbs. Take a look at this. Yeah, they're taking the right turn north on September 14th in response to this East Coast trough. Yeah, it starts to pull the system more north, high pressure retreating in the North Atlantic here, which allows the system to get pulled north by this East Coast trough. However, look what starts to happen. This trough starts to move a bit too fast here. You can see it spinning off the hurricane here. High pressure building inland here. The big question is, does this high pressure move so quickly to the east? Look where it is by this point on September 17th. That it starts to slow the system down and push it towards a left turn towards the New England coast. This has been a fear for quite a while now with this potential system. A high pressure gets stuck to the northeast of the system and pushes it right into central and eastern New England. This is probably a worst-case scenario here. It's now showing up on the European model. I do caution you, the previous European run yesterday was showing a recurvature completely out to sea. So we're going to have to take a look at this trend. But yeah, this is something to keep an eye on. Now, intensity forecasts are kind of interesting with this storm. Taking this from Category 3 again all the way back up to 4. It's not likely this is going to become a 5 again, although it is a little possible, but more likely a 4 and then back into 3 as we head throughout, say, 5, day 6 here. And then eventually as it heads over towards north of Bermuda, up towards just east of New England and towards Nova Scotia, this could actually push it back down to Category 2, Category 1, and then becoming extratropical. Sea surface temperatures continue to be like bathwater. In fact, it's actually filling in back with above average here. Just some cool pockets here that may affect Hurricane Lee, but not likely. Look at this bathwater here across the MDR and the Gulf of Mexico as well as the rest of the Atlantic. This is almost unprecedented. Now always take a look at the Caribbean rainfall totals here. It looks dry at least through Sunday here into Monday across the Caribbean islands, Jamaica, Cayman Islands. But look, you get some rainfall here later Tuesday, coming in with a little bit of a tropical wave. And as we head through the rest of next week, it does look like a drier week. You're still going to get some rainfall here, especially in Jamaica. You'll probably come out to about 30 to 55 millimeters, right around 1.5 inches, 2 inches of rain. Now, as we head towards the Leeward Islands, westward to Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, yeah, there it is, leasting safely to the north. Just a lot of heavy surf in these areas. It will promote some outer feeder bands here, which could promote up to 40 to 60 millimeters, anywhere from 1.5 inches, 2 inches here. But look at the Turks, the Caicos, northward here towards the Lesser Antilles and the southern part of the Leeward Islands here. Yeah, we're not looking for much rain here, anywhere from 20 to 40 millimeters, right around 3/4 to 1 1/4 inches through the rest of next week into the early part of the following week, right around the 19th. And as we head out across the Western Pacific here, you can see we don't have a whole lot to talk about here. There are no systems to behold here. And as you can see through September 11th to 12th, even the 13th and 14th, yeah, we got a bunch of tropical moisture here across the Philippines. As you can see, showers and thunderstorm action going on here. But there is nothing that bears watching at the moment. In fact, just your regular monsoon-type rains here as we go all the way through the 15th here. So not too much to talk about, at least in the short term here in the Western Pacific. All right, so as we continue to look at our future radar here, take a look at this. There's going to be some tremendously heavy rain. Severe weather potential as well in this area as we head through the evening, late evening into the overnight hours towards 10 p.m., 11 p.m. You can see across central Pennsylvania here in particular some big gully washers here. Some of these could actually contain damaging wind and large hail in some of these areas. So watch out even into New England here. There may be a stray cell. Down here into parts of the Carolinas and southern Appalachians, we're going to be looking at the potential for some strong to severe storms as well as we head into the overnight. Now, let's see what happens as we head into the overnight. You can see our main area is going to be across northeast Pennsylvania from Binghamton down to Scranton and Allentown. These areas over towards Elmira, we could have some very heavy rains overnight, and this progresses towards 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. That heading north towards the Adirondacks. You see some clearing here across parts of the mid-Atlantic, so that is some good news. But we're going to watch another area of cloudiness and rain. This is towards noon on Sunday. Yeah, rain is going to be starting to fall here across eastern Pennsylvania, parts of New England. So we're going to continue to watch for that as we go in time. Showers and thunderstorms becoming much more numerous towards 4 p.m. You see the radar really lighting up here across much of the east, all the way up into Maine, all the way down to Georgia here and northern Florida. So watch out. Some gully washers popping up here. Maybe some isolated severe, but the main threat's going to be some heavy rains, maybe some flash flooding in some areas. Look at towards 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m. on Sunday evening. We're getting some pretty heavy rain out of these thunderstorms, and my concern is the way they're oriented. They're oriented southwest to northeast, and they will be moving in that general direction too. So some of these storms will be training on top of one another, meaning they'll be just heading over the same area like train cars on a railroad track. But there it is towards 12 a.m. Sunday night. Yeah, there it is. Lots of showers and thunderstorm action going on, especially from the mid-Atlantic into the northeast. All right, so taking a look at North America, U.S. and Canada included. You can see here as we head on through the rest of the weekend, areas of low pressure across eastern Canada, high pressure building into central Canada, and not a whole lot of weather here in the U.S. other than some stormy conditions, yeah, here in the mid-Atlantic and the northeast. So yeah, that could promote some severe weather in this region. As we continue in time here, you can see that slug of moisture as we head on into Sunday here across eastern Pennsylvania, eastern New York, and parts of southeast Canada here, Quebec, Montreal, these areas. High pressure building into central Canada. As you can see, as we continue to go in time, take a look at this. September 11th, showers and thunderstorms continuing across parts of the northeast. And you can see it's staying unsettled here, even across parts of the Great Lakes. Now, there's going to be this big area of high pressure just sprawling across most of Canada. So that is going to keep you really nice, at least in the medium term here. So those stormy conditions continue across the eastern Great Lakes as we head towards September 12th here into the 13th. You can see another slug of moisture here on the east end of this trough. Even parts of southern Ontario and Quebec getting in on the act here as we continue to go in time towards the 14th, the 15th. Enjoy this area of high pressure because the European model is slowly retreating that high towards the northeast. And with this approaching trough just too far to the west, look what it does with potential Hurricane Lee right into New England. We're going to keep an eye on this because this could also impact you in parts of southeast Canada. It could also go over further to the east and affect Nova Scotia and Newfoundland. So at this point, please stay tuned. There's going to be quite some tremendous weather changes, especially as Hurricane Lee approaches. The rest of Canada looks like high pressure building in towards September 18th. All right, so here's the European model. If this solution holds true, we'll see at least through Tuesday heavy rain here across the northeast, 1 to 2 inches plus. Eastern New York, eastern Pennsylvania, eastward to New England. And then as we head throughout the rest of next week, Wednesday into Thursday, more rain on top of that. If the European model holds with this solution, this would be devastating rainfall totals here, especially across all of New England, looking at a solid 4 to 8 inches with locally higher towards 10 to 12 inches possible. Now always take a look at the Caribbean rainfall totals here. It looks dry at least through Sunday here into Monday across the Caribbean islands, Jamaica, Cayman Islands. But look, you get some rainfall here later Tuesday, coming in with a little bit of a tropical wave. And as we head through the rest of next week, it does look like a drier week. You're still going to get some rainfall here, especially in Jamaica. Will you probably come out to about 30 to 55 millimeters, right around 1.5 inches, 2 inches of rain. I have plenty more weather here. Stay tuned for the rest of my video, but I have a quick announcement here from my affiliate. Take a look at this. I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning digital professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code MeteoMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code. So as we take a look at the heat wave breaking, it has broke here across the northern plains, the northeast, and even parts of the Ohio Valley here. We're cooling down into the upper 60s and around 70, 75 in many of these areas. That is a nice refreshing air into Sunday and into Monday as well. Look what starts to happen. Upper 60s, lower 70s across the northern plains. We see a little bit of a warming trend briefly here into the northeast. Look at even Texas. We're getting rid of those triple digits and knocking it down into the 90s. Staying pretty warm here in Florida into the mid-90s. But look at this. This looks like a touch of fall. Upper 50s, lower 60s here up in northern Wisconsin, northern UP and Michigan. Still a little bit warm here into parts of the northeast, right around 80. But watch this as we head towards Wednesday here. This is going to be a big cooling trend. 64 in Cleveland, 69 in Rochester, 64 there in Detroit. Yeah, these are going to be some cooler temperatures moving towards the northeast, and we're going to be seeing widespread upper 60s from Michigan, upstate New York, northern Ohio, all the way into northern New England as we head on into Thursday, September 14th, as well as Friday, September 15th here. Look at this. We do start to see a warming trend, though. But look at down in Texas, 82 for Dallas-Fort Worth, even some upper 80s here into parts of Florida. That is... Look at that. Even along the Gulf Coast, upper 80s. Lots of 70s here back east. Extended outlook from our hometown viewers. Binghamton to Scranton's upper Susquehanna River Valley of upstate New York into northeast Pennsylvania. Take a look at Sunday here. Showers and thunderstorms likely. It looks like a total washout, anywhere from 1/3 to 1/2 inch likely. Temperatures held down by the clouds and the rain, 72 degrees. Into Monday, scattered showers and thunderstorms likely again. A little bit warmer, 76, 79 into Tuesday with scattered showers. Wednesday, we'll have an all-day rain event, another washout, only getting to 69. And look at that, fall-like conditions for your Thursday, sunny and 66. As always, thanks for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. Take a look at my Facebook page at MeteoMark, also Weather Northeastern, also Hurricane Northeastern to follow the tropics. And if you want to hop over to my Twitter page, it's at Weather Eastern. It's MeteoMark.com. Thanks for joining me. Question or comment down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification button so you're alerted when a video comes out.